Salah, Chloe touched upon 200 goals. Finally breaking that. Jurgen Klopp revealed they've had this shirt with 200 on the back being carried around with them for 2 weeks, and it honestly felt like
Like it was last season's kit.
Well, yeah,
it's been that long. Fucking hell, that's what it felt like to me.
It feels like Salah's added on underneath. You know, when a player's got a message and they're waiting to score so they can lift the shirt up and celebrate it. He feels like he's been desperate for that. And actually, I'm totally enamoured with the idea of it being one of the worst goals he's ever scored, being the goal that gets the 200. It shows he's a great goal scorer for the start, because you get all kinds, but also, yeah, fucking just get it out the way, mate, and crack on with your season.
Yeah, and not just that, it was a massive goal. It might not be the most lovely goal on the eye, but it was vital in Liverpool getting the 3 points, and the fact that it's his 200th goal and he didn't even celebrate it, he was very much get that ball, get it on the halfway line and we go again. It shows you the maturity and the professionalism of Mo Salah. He's just broken another record for Liverpool, and he doesn't even think twice to celebrate it. He's more bothered about Liverpool picking up the 3 points. So yeah, it's boss to see. He's possibly one of the greatest footballers I've ever seen, just in terms of stats. It's absolutely outrageous. He is inevitable, and I know I don't want to bring it up, but if Liverpool somehow managed to lose him in the summer, I don't know what to say, because I don't think you can replace that lad. I just don't think you can at this moment in time. I think Liverpool need to find a way, if he keeps up this scoring form, to extend his contract by a year, 2 years, whatever it may be, because let's be honest, Saudi are always going to be there for him no matter what age he is, because it feels like he can just go and go forever. So yeah, an unbelievable footballer. Finally gets his 200th goal, and hopefully he can get 203 this weekend.
That'd be nice. I think the Saudi Arabia thing is interesting. We were talking about this last week, weren't we? Is that I think a lot of the professionals who are sort of a good age still will be looking at that going, nah, fuck that, like, have you seen it?
Yeah. Gabby Vega was the example we used.
Yeah, it was the unknown, you know, and it's, you know, everyone's going over there, it's going to be boss. Now they look at it and I reckon they're going, no.
Well, they've got mates over there all of a sudden, haven't they? And it'll be little messages, little WhatsApp.
600 fans. Yeah. I've traded Anfield for this.
You've seen the kip of this training gear. No, but I do think that's a point. Yeah. Salah's now one of only 5 men to score 200 goals for Liverpool Football Club. He was already 5th in our all-time top goal scorers list, but he's 28 behind Billy Liddell. He's 41 behind Gordon Hodgson. He's 185 behind Roger Hunt, and he's 143 behind Ian Rush.
That was some good maths.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Right. He sounded confident.
No. It was, I wasn't until I started to question what I'd said this one before. I was like, did I say 185? Like, Ian Rush is far and away over the hill and gone, I would suggest. But look, there will come a question, Chris, at some point with Salah, and it will be, what do you want to do next? You know, where do you want to go with your career? And we've mentioned the Saudi Arabia thing. I don't think that, all of a sudden, I actually don't think that's as nailed on as it looked in the summer. I was totally convinced that this was his last season for Liverpool. I think the case of him staying gets stronger the more games he plays for us and the more goals he scores, because
and the more competitive Liverpool come once again. Because
that's what it comes down to.
Why would you want to trade being at the pinnacle of football, potentially winning it all, being the main man for Liverpool Football Club, to then go and trade it to play in a league where winning means absolutely nothing? Like, it's not as enjoyable. You can play at the toppest level in football here, and if you can continue to win, I think that's the only thing. I think even, I thought it was his last season for Liverpool, but there was always something in me that thought, it's Mo Salah. He strives to be the best. Yeah. Like, Erling Haaland came in and he still is going to, in his mind, think, okay, well, if I'm not getting the top goal scorer, I'm getting the top assister, or I'm doing this, or I'm going to make someone, have a run for the money. And I think the competitiveness was always there for me to think, but would he really give all of this up when he's still at the top of his game, to go to a league where you can literally walk about a football pitch and pass a ball in the back of the net? And that, I think, the more Liverpool get competitive and potentially win titles and, get back in the Champions League and stuff, the more Mo Salah is surely inclined to think, no, I'm staying at the top.
He's likely to get to about 215 by the end of the season, I would suggest. He's got 14 so far, 215 to 220 potentially, if he gets around the 30 goal mark, which is... it's behind Billy Liddell, but it puts Billy Liddell and Gordon Hodgson, I think, right in his sights with another season under his belt. And then it becomes one of those things where then you get there and then Roger Hunt's probably in your sight at that point, and then, you know, again, Ian Rush is just an absolute goal-scoring freak, isn't he? But I really don't know. And it comes down to like who's out there, who's going to offer him the challenge, because that might be a point as well. Let's say Liverpool win the league this season. Mo Salah might just think, I've done all I'm going to do here in terms of what I might want to go and experience Spain, or I might want to go and experience another league. But is that offer going to be forthcoming? You know, is there going to be, are Real Madrid going to be knocking on Liverpool's door, or Barcelona? And then if Barcelona can do it, can they even afford them, if that was the question? And that's where part of this problem comes from, is who can afford Mohamed Salah? Who are also at a level that's going to test his ambitions.
Well, I think that's probably the pertinent point, isn't it? It's that the thing that's always frustrated me about players going, when Suarez was linked with Arsenal, I was like, yeah, that's great, you won Champions League football, but 6 games in the Champions League's not going to do anything really in the grand scheme of things before you get knocked out. Whereas when Liverpool get back in the Champions League with Jurgen Klopp in charge, I think he knows that's as good a place as any in Europe as trying to get to a final and win the competition. Now, it might not happen, don't get me wrong, but, you know, apart from us in Real Madrid, how many teams have been to a couple of European finals or 3 European finals over the last 5 years? You know, he's at the right place for getting there, and it's probably not going to be Real Madrid, is it? They're going to be looking for somebody like him. So stay at Liverpool, win the league this season, get a treble, and get yourself in the Champions League next season. Sound, innit?
Yeah.
It's easy.
Suitors are one thing in all of this, and I've shifted my outlook on it ever so slightly over the past few weeks, months, whatever it may be, because I was with you guys by the sounds of it, in terms of I was almost certain he was going to leave at the end of the season because it just felt so inevitable given what went on in the summer and all sort of the mood music around that. But now for me, I'm looking at the football club side of things as opposed to Mohamed Salah, because I tend to agree with it. I think Salah will want to stick around, they want to break more records, win more trophies at the very top of the game. However, Liverpool have got a huge decision to make, because 12 months left on his deal. Do you give him a new contract? Does that new contract have to be improved again? You can't let him leave for free. You just cannot let him leave for free. Liverpool Football Club as a business is a disgusting conversation to have, but unfortunately is one that needs to be had at some point. You can't let somebody who's worth that much money walk away for nothing. It's just not possible. The way we run our football club, that just doesn't exist.
He's the top earner of the football club by some way as well. And look, I think we can all sit here and say, I look at him and go, as a physical specimen, I can't see how he won't go on for another 2 or 3 years at that level. His game's adapting this year, which I think was going to be interesting to this. And do Liverpool continue to adapt to Mo Salah changing, or do you reach a point where you've got to do something a little bit different? That'll certainly be a question on it. You're right, the potential windfall of cashing in on a Salah balanced against, well, how do you replace 30 goals and 15 to 20 assists a season? Answer is, you're not doing that with one. No matter how much money you're bringing on Salah, you're not replacing that with one guy. You're going to have to do something different either way. And but the other thing is the sports science that we're not privy to. So we're saying Salah's going on, but I must admit, I did also equally have my first inkling over this last 3 weeks when I've looked at him and gone, is this Salah now? Like, he's not fast anymore. He's not slow, but he's not lightning quick anymore. No. He is starting to look a little jaded in his performances.
He's had these spells in recent seasons, I think, though, and all of a sudden he snapped out of it. I think he had one when he came back from AFCON a little while ago, and that's a factor.
Do you think AFCON might be a little factor in this, because that's probably his big last hurrah? I mean, look, again, like Rigobert Song, I think, played in AFCONs till he was 40 or whatever, but so it's possible. But this will be the last AFCON when he's absolutely guaranteedly maybe they're about the top of his pass. I don't know whether that's he's got one eye on that, because it's only a month, less than a month away, pretty much for him. Might he be keeping something in reserve to make sure he's got that to go to? I don't know anyone.
It wouldn't surprise me if he's got the weight of his nation on his shoulders, hasn't he? So he wants to be fit for it and stuff like that. I don't think that's what it is. I think your sort of take was probably a bit closer to the truth, to be honest. I've had those inklings myself about, I just don't think his all-round game he's just not in form. I think, he's still having an impact on the match, because Mo Salah's still Mo Salah, and teams still need to defend him exactly the same on the off chance that he puts in a Mo Salah performance, and he can still have big important goals and get the assists and stuff, but the whole team's changed around him as well. You know, the midfield, as we've spoken about so often, has changed massively. The attack's completely different to how it used to be, so it's a period of adaptation for everybody, and you know, it's probably a bit easier for somebody maybe like a Trent whose position has changed and they're doing it themselves, whereas how people interact with Salah's changed, and then he needs to find his groove in all of that. But I you know, fitness wise, I've got no concerns whatsoever. I agree with you. I don't think he is as fast as he was. I don't think his shooting's as good as it used to be either, to be honest with you, but he's also got the ability to just go through a purple patch and knock everything in for 10 games.
Yeah. He's got 22 combined goals and assists, which is basically a goal and an assist every time he's taken to the field.
Mental that we're even talking about it when you look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Long may it continue for Mohamed Salah, I think, is the short answer on all of that. But yeah, it is interesting. As I say, it's mad. The dynamic of this seems to have shifted. Again, I think most of us would have said, that's it. The law of the Saudi Pro League will have taken him, but then all of a sudden we're looking at the law of Saudi Pro League, and it's very monorail episode of The Simpsons for me. You know, except that, you know, like the second people around now, you know, it's done a lap and it's all the stuff's gone on it, and then you're ringing up Leonard Nimoy and going, how was that? And he's going, nope. No, absolutely horrendous.